All right, hello everybody. This is Squeaks here at the Geek Freaks podcast. I'm joined today by Frank.
Hey everybody.
And then special guest. I feel like I haven't talked to him very long in the podcast at all, but Jon is back, baby.
Well, hello.
Damn, that is nice. That is nice. Welcome, welcome. So a lot of news today. We're going to go to the Marvel Universe, the Game of Thrones universe. We're going to be all over the place and talk about a little bit of the PlayStation announcements and the state of play. So to kick us off, Frank gave us a question that he always like to give us these critical thinking questions to start off the podcast. And here's the question. I actually do have a response for this right away. And this will lead into later in the podcast conversations. But to give everyone else some thought, besides Frank, because he came up with these questions, the question is, what massive franchise could use a low stakes spinoff? Now, I don't know if it's going to be low stakes, but while you all think about that, my answer, and this is kind of the hype of what's going on with this PlayStation State of Play, but what I would like to see is something of a God of War storytelling that's not so much of Kratos on the TV screens in your living room. And the way I think about this is I think of it like a Game of Thrones style Olympus, right? We are mostly the gods are in there for like boss fights and but why not do a little bit of like political maneuvering right behind the scenes, like Zeus and Ares, Athena, like debating on like Kratos.
I really like that idea, especially like the three main houses are probably the three brothers, right? Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades.
Yeah, throw them in there.
Yeah,
yep. But not so much the gods, but also I think there's a lot of other things that gets mentioned or like talked about Kratos, but more of like say like the Spartan perspective, right? Like we know Kratos is a leader and ambition, but like what's it look like following a squad of Spartans that have to march into like the supernatural territory of all these nightmares with these gods and whatnot. So besides that, a little bit of world building, I would say, like say collateral damage, civilians when Poseidon floods a city, what's that look like? So for me, I think definitely the God of War can use a little bit more storytelling to fill in gaps that we just kind of hear about playing the games.
That's
what do you think, Frank? What's yours?
Well, for me, I was thinking I want like a Stardew Valley set in the Fallout universe where it's just following a small town trying to survive with radium everywhere. I really like the part of Fallout where we stick with the people that are in the shelter for a little bit. But we could do it above ground too, and to where you just kind of have this shady sands maybe or something like that. A civilization trying to rebuild. The later seasons of Walking Dead, but with the funniness, Fallout I think would be a blast.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
What about Jon? What do you got?
I'm thinking, I mean, I know there's been plenty of Lord of the Rings and there's the Rings of Power came out and stuff like that, but that was such a big grandiose kind of thing. I'm thinking real small scale, like just Life in the Shire kind of series.
Yeah.
And the big bad every once in a while would be like a large elk came into our village and they're like, oh my God, what do we do? And he's not, he might not even be hostile, but he's dangerous for people that are so small kind of thing.
He's eating too many carrots.
So like, or they only have like one breakfast instead of two. Oh man, I love the Shire so much. There's like a hotel that's around here that maybe like an hour north from where I live. That's basically like Airbnb and it's like little hobbit holes and I'm telling the wife we need to go, and I'll just sit there and watch Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God,
all day.
100%. Why? I didn't know about that being so close.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. Yeah, it's so weird. Like growing up when you're little, right? You're like, Aragorn's the badass and the dwarfs or whatever. But now you're older, like, dude, the Shire is where I want to be at.
Give me that long pipe that Gandalf has. Like, I'd be good for the rest of the day, bro. That'd be good.
I mean,
Thomas just showed up, guys. Let's get Thomas's opinion on this. Thomas, what's your answer for the question?
Yeah. Do you need the question again? The question is: massive franchise could use a low stakes spinoff. Please answer with that fucking hat that you're wearing.
Man, you guys, this dope hat of the champions? Yeah. Man.
I'm just mad because I couldn't buy one.
I could have got you one. I think one franchise that's massive, but it could maybe be served by a smaller story. Why not Jurassic Park? Like, we've only had these big, massive movies, but like, I think it gets lost on us, like the average person going to the park or a day in the life of just something crazy happening. I think that would be sick. I don't know why they haven't done that.
What about like The Office, but it's the guys running the park, and so they're just kind of like,
oh my God,
the Raptors are out again. Oh shucks.
Yeah. I think more of a consumer standpoint would be like a family trying to like afford this trip for these kids, and they're like massive $700 tickets.
Yeah.
Sounds like if a Mickey Mouse is running the theme park.
They could totally make the comparison to Disney.
Yeah. Oh shit, that'd be hilarious.
Let me bring in some of our people on social media. We got Aaron from Phantom Portals, part of the network here, says doing a Zootopia version where Hops and Wild he was saying basically like the Lilo and Stitch show, where every week it's a different person that you're visiting, you're trying to solve cases. It's just this like fun way to explore more of Zootopia. Over on Threads, we have Attila Kiss Photo said a Sin City or Pulp Fiction style film that's the Han Solo story. Doesn't have to be connected to anything else. It's just him being a badass on like the Coruscant streets. This was one that tickled me pink. This is the last one I'll do. Will and Tracker, Law and Order sketch artist. Where it's just Law and Order about the sketch artist.
Just hearing the most shittiest descriptions and making masterpieces out of it.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Let's talk about the Spider-Man Noir teaser, right? Or trailer at this point. That's the vibes I got with this show that's going to be coming out. Anybody else get something? What's your takes on initially watching this trailer?
Man, it's so good. I feel like it was so much better than I was expecting. Like, I didn't know that they were going to put that much kind of swinging in, even though it wasn't a lot, but just those few shots of him in the full suit swinging, I'm like, God dang, this is cool. This honestly feels like a big franchise getting a smaller scaled show or something, and it works, man. It looks so cool.
And you tell me Nick Cage playing Spider-Man, I'm like, that doesn't fit. That's Nick Cage is not a Spider-Man. No, he's not. Spider-Man is being made into a Nick Cage character, and I love it. Like, I think they're changing the version of Spider-Man that we're seeing, and it's perfect, especially being that we're in a totally different era and everything, a different style of movie. It doesn't need to look like Tom Holland. He's going to be a crazy kind of wild Nick Cage character, and I'm totally down for it.
And I got plastered. Like,
I mean, I think it's very important that all these different type of Spider-Mans have some different personality, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely fitting that. With this trailer, what I was thinking, to be honest, is there's a lot of, where I want to say 50-50 of investigation type crime stuff, and then a lot of Spider-Man swinging, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. So I didn't think we'd get this much jam-packed with Spider-Man in just one season. Or I don't even know how many episodes, if anybody could confirm how many episodes this will be, but
I would assume.
Can you say, Frank, with Prime kind of leading this project, do you think anything different might be introduced into this universe? Like something differently seen, shot? What do you think?
With Prime, one thing we've learned from them is that they like to be pretty faithful to adaptations. We've seen that with Fallout. We're seeing it a lot with The Boys. They'll do things that you wouldn't expect to be done on screen, and then happens. Invincible, another good example. So I think with Spider-Noir, if there is a cameo to be had, it'll be had here. If there's we know we're getting Sandman, we know we're getting a couple other villains like that. I think this is gonna look pretty comic book accurate-y Sandman, albeit the 1930s Spider-Noir version. I like that. I am beginning to trust Prime more, not the company, but the studio. I'm starting to trust them more with adaptations, and then that really leans well into the upcoming God of War.
Definitely.
Okay. So then you're okay with the Lord of the Rings Prime?
The Lord of the Rings. Here's the tricky part of Lord of the Rings. Yeah. The tricky part of Lord of the Rings is
here it is.
They're doing a faithful adaptation of the few lines from the back of Lord of the Rings that they actually bought the rights to. They bought so little rights to Lord of the Rings that they're making a lot of stuff up, and that's what we get. That's what we got. But the spectacle of Ring of Power, I think, cannot be denied. It looks beautiful.
For sure.
It's well crafted.
Yeah, it was just the story, man. I don't know if you guys finished it. I could not get through season 2. I was like, this is boring. I could barely get through season 1. But yeah, you're right. I think it gives me faith for James Bond as well. I think James, now that it's under their, whatever studio, I think it's going to be great. Question for you guys, though. Do you think this is the same Spider-Noir from Into the Spider-Verse? Or do you think this is a separate one? Is it?
I think it would have to be, right? Voices of Nick Cage. I mean, why not?
I've heard conflicting things. Like some people are saying it is a variant. It is the exact one. I don't know. So I guess I was just curious your guys' thoughts on it.
I guess my question would be, if they did different, universes, why would they cast the same voice as the Spider-Verse one? It'd be confusing. I mean, kind of.
That's a good way to look at it, is because the Nick Cage of it all, and Nick Cage such a distinctive voice, you probably would try to stay away from it if you could. I think it is because I think Sony, this comes kind of from an era when Sony was trying to build their Spider-Verse, when this was first greenlit, right? And so they were probably trying to connect as much as they can because they're trying to create their MCU. So why would they not connect this as well? And I have a feeling the way that we're seeing from this trailer is it's flashbacks to his origin story, but he's also talking to somebody post-mortem, essentially. So I have a feeling Spider-Verse probably happens in between this show, to where he's looking back at this is my version of the Spider-Man story. Because he also does that very classic Spider-Verse thing where he says, let's start from the beginning. And he does that move. So I'm hoping that this is just sandwiching Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Question for John. If you're watching this series, do you want this to be more of a detective show or something more comic booky with Spider-Man?
Yeah, I would love more detective side of it. Like if you can make this a Sherlock Holmes meets Spider-Man would be phenomenal. Make it
Don't
like
talk dirty to me.
right? I mean, give us a few episodes before he even gets bit or starts to learn that he has powers. Like it could be at the very end of the first season that he's actually swinging with webs. Like that's fine with me if we see a more depth in his ability, like we see with Batman a lot of times, that he's actually a really good detective. Being a billionaire and fighting crime is just a part of it, but he's actually really smart. Like I'd love to see that a little more in this Spider-Man before he's given these superpowers that elevate him above the average criminal.
Look, I agree with you, but not
really
that much. Like, come on, man. I don't need a Daredevil season 1 this. I want to see that outfit earlier.
Right.
I think,
gracious.
because it's Lord and Miller too, they're probably gonna do what they did in the Spider-Verse and just be like, you know the story. This is how it happens. He's already bit. I think that's probably the way they're gonna go. But yeah, I don't know. All the swinging, all the night fighting with the guns, give me all of it right from the jump.
Yeah, I think with the Sin City feel, like I said, it brings me back to Watchmen also. And I wouldn't mind seeing Spider-Man Noir kind of portray, and correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, Rorschach?
Yeah.
Rorschach, I'm saying it right? To that nitty gritty, like really dark kind of tones or whatever, and then him just kind of, I don't know, surviving just as a mess.
Rorschach is the noir character in a pulp story. So yeah, he is the one you would...
He'd be perfect.
I could definitely see that, yeah. And the leaning back to Sin City, not just the black and white aspect of it, but the fact that it does feel kind of like stylized, the lighting with the angles.
Yes.
Like there's that one shot where Nicolas Cage is like smoking in the bar, and I'm like, oh, that's just meant to be a poster somewhere. That's the kind of moves you remember from Sin City, where they're just like these perfect shots.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I loved his PlayStation game, and PlayStation had a bunch of other announcements this week.
I had no way to segue that, but that was good.
Nicely done.
So let's talk about some of these big PlayStation announcements. Now, I will say on our Discord, Kyle, friend of the show, he's been on the podcast many times. He was not impressed. Were you guys impressed with what PlayStation came with?
Oh man, I actually really enjoyed this show. I think there was a lot of indie stuff that I didn't care too much about, but I was really satisfied with this announcement for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck, he's high.
I think the ones I heard about, because I didn't watch it, but the ones I heard about it all seemed pretty cool. Like the James Bond one, I'm like, I'm interested in that. It looks very good. It seems like James Bond is all I could talk about tonight, since I keep bringing it up. But like that one did look pretty sick. I know a lot of people are fans of the Control series. I only played a demo. It wasn't like my favorite thing, but I know people really love it. So I think that one might be good. Dead or Alive? Yeah, that's interesting, man. I haven't played Dead or Alive in years. So I'm curious to see how that one. Ooh,
I just played the volleyball spinoff. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I played the volleyball version too. But the God of War trilogy remake, I will probably pick that up. That sounds so good.
That's a must purchase.
Yeah. And some of my favorite announcements, like, the first Light 007, I'm really excited to play something on that, like, caliber of storytelling when it comes to, like, spy action, whatever. The big thing for me, and this is why I told myself for the last 2 Pokemon games I have not purchased, is the Beast Reincarnation. That is done by Game Freak, and it's upsetting to me that Game Freak produces the style of Pokemon games that they do today and in 2026. I think it's just, the last game was 25, I guess. But it's definitely BS. You guys need to... I'm on strike with Pokemon games until they start developing something that's legit.
But knowing their longevity in the gaming industry, would you want to give Beast of Reincarnation a chance?
Yes. Now, I'm going to give that a chance for sure. I'm not even touching any more Pokemon games ever from Game Freak until that game evolves. Okay, like a Pokemon.
You're right. The last one
there.
was so lackluster in the quality. And actually, that's something that's been echoed on from like the last 2 generations before that. So you're totally right in that. I'm hoping that problem with quality control doesn't exist in something like this. Entirely new IP for them.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be extremely successful. It's going to get Game Freak name on it is going to get the hype for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was kind of really excited for that I really want to get back into this universe, more of a 3D version than a 2D, but Belmont's Curse, the Castlevania one. I'm pretty excited to play that 2D again. I was going to go back to the Symphony 17 something. Dang it, I'm forgetting the old Castlevania. But I was like, oh, I'll just wait for this one. There's plenty of other games like World of Warcraft coming out soon, so why even bother? You know what I'm saying? I think it started off pretty strong though when it came out with I think this was the second trailer, but the Ghost of Yotai expansion. I thought it was his own game.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
That's cool because it's
Chinese
co-op
mythology and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
cool.
They did that.
It gave me that Night Rain vibes.
Yeah, they did it in Ghost of Tsushima too.
Ring.
But I think what they're gonna do is like more of a story to it because Ghost of Tsushima was just like fun multiplayer like games, but it wasn't necessarily like a part of the story. So I think I don't know. That's how I was interpreting it, but it sounds dope. I didn't pick up Ghost of Yotai, but I feel like I need to.
Yeah, I really feel like this is just almost like a copy and paste of the Elden Ring Night Rain. PvE, kill bad guys, probably gonna be pretty tough.
One of the games I've really liked over the last few years, and I've been wanting to share it with Jonathan, is Kenna Bridge of Spirits, because it reminds me so much of the classic adventure games that me and Jonathan played a lot as kids, where somebody busy like him, actually like all of you now, with kids, you guys want to be able to start a game, put in 30 minutes of it, pause and stop game and come back to it, and it's not like you're just wasting your time. Kenna is very much that way, where you're slowly exploring this world, getting better with your bow and arrow and stuff. Now, that was with an indie studio, and it won, I believe, Game of the Year when it did come out. And now they have an announcement for a sequel coming out. It looks like she's aged up and further exploring her world. It's a very spiritual game. It's a very beautiful game. And the small little details are so cool.
Yeah, Legends of Sora, like from Avatar. I thought I was like, oh, what's this Avatar game?
Before people go crazy, it's Korra with a K.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, Sora, like, man, that doesn't look like Sora from Kingdom Hearts at all.
But it was the little things like the key to unlocking a puzzle is watching that, like, oh, there's these candles that are lit in a certain way. Let me shoot in this puzzle the direction these candles are. Sure enough, that was the answer. Little things like that. Nothing that's gonna break your brain, but also just enough to kind of like give you some video game time for 30 minutes you have free. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, Jonathan's got to get on this one. It's going to be on the PS5 and PC. Jonathan's a PC player, and this is going to work great on his Steam Deck. So I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I get to like something like the favorites, though, did you all check out the Star Wars Galactic Racers? How we feeling about pod racing coming back?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, this just looks like modern day pod racer, and I'm about it. That's cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been saying it forever. They need to make a Talladega Nights fucking pod racing. I want to see
Shake
it so
and bake,
bad.
baby.
Oh man, but I think that what sparked me a lot about this state of play that I really had my interest and is being excited for new games, and one of those is going to be Project Wilderness. Did we all see that rooster running around killing everyone?
Yes, and this
like
is based off
Dynasty
of
Warrior type
book franchise that I think you and me both need to dig into, man.
I was trying to, but it looks like it's not going to be released, at least as a graphic novel, until next month. But I could not find a normal novel.
It's a Korean novel series.
Yes,
by
I can't find it at all.
Lee Young-do.
Yeah.
It's called The Bird That Drinks Tears, and this is set. I think it was like 4,000 years before the events of the book series. I'm gonna try to find it. If you try to find it as well, I think it'd be something cool for us to. Just because when I'm seeing this badass chicken, I'm like, I want to know more about the chicken people.
Yeah.
And with a title like The Bird That Drinks Tears, I'm like, okay, I'm in. That sounds sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it's about like 4 races. The chicken being one of them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, something go on, but it looks really dark too. Like when it first opened up, I was like, "Is this like a Diablo vibe?"
Yeah.
That was gonna be it.
Yeah, I see that.
But then a massive rooster chicken thing came up, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is."
Here we go. I got
Did
some
they show
additional
any
information on this
gameplay
real
from
quick.
it?
The first book being made into the English version is going to be releasing on June 2nd, 2026. That's when we can get it here in America.
Okay.
Oh,
There we go.
wow.
Got it. Yeah, I definitely read it.
Is it
Okay.
did they show any gameplay or just the trailer?
Yeah,
Just
this
the trailer.
It was like a Dynasty Warriors open world.
Yeah, actually, I have seen
was getting.
gameplay through IGN's run, and they're saying it's God of War, but then there's mass people, so that you can kind of bounce and forth between Dynasty Warriors and God of War combat.
Heck yeah.
God, that's hot.
Dope.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of God of War, right? 2 announcements. One is the Son of Sparta's.
Yep.
Sons of Sparta? Yeah. I actually picked that up, got like an hour in as of right now. Not too bad. A little bit of the combat's a lot of the combat's a little like 2-hit dodge feel instead of something that's like a true side-scrolling like a Castlevania. So it's really not flowing with me very well right now. So I'm still giving it a chance. Obviously, I'm going to play it. It's God of War, right? In the title alone. That's all that matters to me. But like what Thomas said, right? The remake of God of War, the trilogy. Man, I want to kill those freaking Olympic.
Those are like some of your
gods.
favorite games, like Shadow of Colossus and then those, man.
Dude. Heck yeah, man. But God of War 3 is something I still go back to this day. But give me that God of War Ragnarok with the Olympus and all that, style. Oh my god!
And let's be real clear about this. It's not a remaster; it's a remake.
Yeah.
So these are from the bones up, new rigs, everything. Yeah.
Do we think it's a little too ambitious to say, hey, we're doing all three, the trilogy one announced? Do you think they've already been working on it? Like they're deep into it, and that's why they're saying all three instead of just like God of War 1 being remade? What do you think?
I think they're not ready to announce God of War 3, so they were like, hey, let's at least say we're working on this as well. They needed something to announce. This will likely be ready before God of War 3, and this is the best they can do right now, is to give us this.
Yeah.
The 2D, I mean, as much as it looks cool for you, I'm sure, if the only thing they were announcing was a 2D God of War, the rest of us would be pissed.
Yeah. True. Wait, what?
No, I just feel like, hey, trilogy right off, it's like, it's pretty ambitious to say, okay, so are we starting like today? Have you been working on it? Like, what?
Yeah, they just said now active
like
development.
10 years later.
So it's like, are they revealing that it's been in active development? We're not too sure about that yet. We'll have to see. Yeah. What were you about
last
to say,
game I wanted to talk about, and it's so funny. I threaded about this because you guys all have your favorite game studios that you'll buy anything from, right? Like who? Like just names. So I think it's probably like Blizzard for you guys. Yeah. What else? Rockstar. Yeah. Okay. So for me and some of my friends, also it's Saber. And I don't know if you guys have been getting really into Saber or you haven't played it, but like we still to this day play World War Z. They just got a new expansion with The Walking Dead. They did the Warhammer 40K game that was the 3-player co-op. Man, like everything they put out, we all play and we love it. But they are also now doing the John Wick game. And I was like, holy crap. Because of that, I was like, oh, I'm getting it. Just because we still actively play a bunch of Saber games and they're really good with like expanding the story, adding new DLC, adding like, I don't know, just I'm impressed with this studio. So I think for that, whether you thought the trailer was amazing or not, like I'm still picking it up because I like trust them now.
Yeah, I think my worry with that John Wick game is how fluid the violence is going to be, right? He's doing massive, like crazy tricks I've never seen in an action movie before. So if it feels like that's being cut away from it, or it's going to be just like quick time actions, which might not be bad. I mean, massive fan of, I don't know if anybody remembers a game called Rise that came out with the first Xbox One.
Very much so.
Yeah, a lot of fighting. One of the two games I 100% in life.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of quick action, but I was into it because it's very violent. So we'll see. I mean, that's my worry. So with the John Wick game.
Well, yeah, I like just feel like it puts everything from the movies in there, and also I think it's a prequel to some of the movies, so you're getting him when he's Baba Yaga. So the action should be faster because he's technically younger. So I mean, yeah, I'm about it, but I just think how they mix gameplay with story is actually really good too. Like you never feel like you're getting cut off by a cutscene or you feel like you have to skip things. It's just like, I don't know. It's just really fun, most of their games, and it really is like kinetic. It moves quick. So I have faith in it. I didn't see any gameplay in the trailer, but as soon as I saw Saber, I was like, oh, check. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I have seen some gameplay, and it's a little bit interesting because it's like bird's eye view. The gameplay that I saw, I don't know if that's a mini game or if that's the entire game. Just don't know.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
All right. Last comment. John, favorite game? What? Let me hear it.
Portal?
Announcement.
No, I don't know. I honestly, I didn't hear about any of these until talking to you guys. I play any PlayStation games or pretty much any games these days. So
I heard Marvel Token. That's what I heard from you. Crazy.
Beautiful. He's excited for Marvel.
Speaking of Marvel Token, Severance just became a fully Apple-owned product.
Bro, gotta do better with your transitions. What the shit?
I'm working on it.
Here we go. Speaking of trusted game studios, I also trust directors, including Ben Stiller, who's in charge of Severance. Severance just got bought out by Apple TV.
That's a pro right there, people. That is a pro.
Jonathan, I know you
Notes being taken right now.
Jonathan, I know you watch Severance. Now that Apple has full ownership of this, they want to expand the brand now that they could do more with it. What do you think is missing in the world of Severance that Apple really should be looking into?
Yeah, so that makes me nervous. Just the show itself. I love it. It's very interesting, but it's the kind of show where every time they answer a question, they leave you asking 2 new questions, and that can only go on for so long. It keeps splintering further and further to where there's got to be more resolution at some point. And I don't know. I mean, the writers are doing a good job, but I don't know how long they can keep that up. So in another season, like if we're going to branch this whole, I mean, it's a really interesting world that they're building. And now that Apple owns it, we can assume that there'll be a little bit more funding and more stability behind it. But they're going to want also to probably take a little bit less chances and have a little more guaranteed return on investment. So they'll be a little bit safer. But the fact that the story is kind of branching and asking more questions and getting, eventually it has to come to some kind of resolve. I don't know where they can go with it. The writing is a little, it keeps us engaged. It keeps us wanting more, but I think we're going to be disappointed once it does finally come to an end or a resolve.
Yeah. So it feels like this is the kind of show where it hurts when you actually have the answers. The mystery
exactly.
is why we're tuning in.
Yeah.
My mind instantly went to this though. So we saw in season 2 that they pulled in people from other branches. And it was like, how did you pull someone from a completely different state? I think in the beginning, we see that the new crew, it has a person from Ohio. And it was like, how the heck did they move from Ohio to here and they're innie and outie not just completely like lose their mind? So I think I'm curious about that. We also saw like in the stop motion intro, there was like a trailer and it showed all the different branches across the globe. Like, yeah, I want to see what's a Lumen looks like in Japan or whatever, New York or a crazy city. Like, I think there's actually so much they can do with this. And I think they could do prequels. I think they can do post things too. Because the whole Egan of it all, like, how did these people come into power and how did they even develop any of this stuff? Because we're seeing a very different world than what we live in. Although at first it seems like everything's normal, it's fine. But when you dig into the history, like, it's crazy. Like if you go on Reddit threads, you can lose a whole weekend in there because there's so much lore. So I don't know. I think this is something that they could expand kind of like Game of Thrones. Like I think there's so much crap you could dig into that would be very interesting, and it would almost be siloed. Like you could do it small, you could do it big. I don't know. It could be really good.
Yeah, you could study each branch like Fallout, where they have the different vaults. Each branch could have a totally different thing going on. The different experiments, more or less, within this project that they're doing.
Yeah, we still don't know what's up with the goats. Like, why goats? Yeah. Like, what is up with that?
But once we find out, then the show's over, right? Like, how do you can't continue to ask the question and I answer it, but you can't answer the question because then your show's over.
That's true, but yeah. I was just saying, like at the end of season 1, they expose the company, right? And you're like, oh man, it's all coming down. The whole system's crashing. And then they're able to just wipe over it at the start of season 2. And you're like, oh my God, that didn't mean anything. So it felt like this massive cliffhanger. I know. I think that you guys are right that you don't want to answer everything, but I think that the questions that they pose after answering things are just as interesting as what they're answering. I don't know. I find it like, I don't know. I love that show. I think give me all the spinoffs. I will watch all of them.
But I think that's where this one thrives is the fact that it's all a mystery box. So as you answer them, you start to kind of close doors. And from my understanding, they're planning on only 4 seasons of this show. But now that Apple owns full rights to it, they're likely going to do spinoffs. For an example, a spinoff I would like that doesn't rely on the mystery box is what does the military look like once they have this technology? Because you could send soldiers over abroad, do atrocities, frankly, and then come back and wipe that part clean. Then you have a soldier who doesn't know that they did anything bad. And we have something like PTSD in our world. How is that in a Severance world? Does that start to break through the Severance because it's stronger than just clocking into work? And maybe you're having this constant thing where you have veterans that don't know what they did and have this brotherhood back in another world, come back to ours and not know each other. And then suddenly, like, maybe those bonds start to form again and stuff. I think you could really kind of explore more personality in this world, not necessarily just the mystery box.
True. Dang, that'd be intense.
I could see them doing a time jump too, moving forward like a year or 2 from where we left off. And now Mark is in charge of that branch. And we're like, well, what the heck? How did he come back into the fold? And, it might have erased his memory or something like that. And then he became in charge of it. Now he's got a new crew, a new group of 4 or something like that. And now we're kind of seeing behind the veil of, okay, what's management look like then? And how is it from seeing, his perspective, but still having questions and trying to solve things from home a little bit. But maybe he was appeased by their answers, and with his outie or something like that. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
What does management look like? Yeah, that's a good point.
So I haven't watched too much Severance, but I have seen a show called C, featuring Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jason Momoa,
There he goes. We've been talking for about 10 minutes. How much of that 10 minutes was you thinking about the transition?
Dude, I was trying so hard not to smile the whole time. It's the only thing I had with that segment.
This is going to be a banger.
So speaking of Jason Momoa, dude, he is set to actually lead a Helldivers movie.
Ridiculous.
I don't know. When I think of this, right, I think of Minecraft. Okay, and I think about how funny that movie. No matter how many times I watch it, because the girls love it so much, it still cracks me up. I still laugh at it. I want that same energy, the funniness and the silliness of Jason Momoa just killing a bunch of big monsters. Like, I don't really care if it's serious. If it's Minecraft, like, funny at all, I'm so down for it. I can see him being Steve. No, not Steve. Garbage Man, right? Trash Man, whatever it was. That have a personality in the Helldivers world. Oh, it would have cracked me up. Is this something you all want to see, like, serious? Like, what is it?
Ship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Something like that, right?
Yeah. Did you guys watch The Wrecking Crew?
No.
Not yet. Very soon, though.
I like Minecraft movie, but I think The Wrecking Crew is my favorite Jason Momoa role yet. He's so ridiculous in that, and he's a complete badass. I mean, it's very violent. It's brutal. Like, people are getting their arms shaved off with cheese graters, but he's so ridiculous and over the top in it. I think it's going to work super well with Helldivers. The only thing is I want there to be like a straight man. So somebody who actually like takes it very seriously, that takes like democracy seriously and like takes the Helldivers seriously for him to bounce off of. But man, if they do that, oh God, this movie's going to kill.
That's
I'm
probably
excited about it.
The player's point of view, right? Is the idea that like, oh, I'm signing up because I saw the propaganda for democracy to save Super Earth. He joins and then he sees that like I was pitching this, like I think I did it on TikTok, whereas like I just want like all the wrestlers. Let's get Batista, let's get The Rock, and then Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart bouncing off all those big dogs would be so funny, Jumanji style. But then like you throw in somebody who's taking this thing seriously, and then there's same people that are because if they take Helldivers seriously, they messed up. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. Is Momoa too silly? That's the question in my mind.
Yeah. Honestly, I wonder. I'm like, also, is he going to be like, that's Jason Momoa? You know, in Helldivers, one of the best parts I think about the game is that it's just random people, right? Like anytime your character could just killed off and they just send another one in. And is it going to be like, he's going to always survive. So does that make it less fun?
But you know what, though? What could be fun is having like really high profile people just coming in there, actors coming in there just to fill that role of dying.
John Cena's on screen for like a
exactly. John, you're thinking like Peacemaker's gonna be badass and just like instantly drops down in 30 seconds later. I think that's I think that could cover that gap.
Definitely.
You know, this is the year. He's got The Wrecking Crew, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Street Fighter, Dune Part 3. He comes back in a big way for the next part of Dune.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So Momoa, we're going to see a wide range from him. This might be, we might get a little more. Him as Lobo, let's be honest, he was literally just born for that role. Like, man was meant to be Lobo.
Looks perfect.
Let's move into our discussion for the week. We're going to be discussing our weekly episodes back. Are they better than binging? So just to kind of set the scenario up real quick. We all remember Stranger Things season 1 comes out. We were able to binge it over the weekend. Word of mouth made that show a hit. Actually, frankly, it made Netflix. And so binging became the thing everybody tried to do. As more streaming services came out, so did weekly releases. Prime really leads with weekly releases. HBO for the most part. Disney can't choose what the hell they want to do. They keep going back and forth. But you're debating on whether or not they even trust the show, really, is what it sounds like. So just right off the top, before we start breaking down each of these different pros and cons, what is your guys' preference? Do you prefer weekly or do you prefer the binge?
Weekly, 100%.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both, but I think I prefer a well-done show that comes out weekly and you really want to see it. I think that's the best way to consume it.
Yeah. I can't even I don't even know if I can come up with an argument for a binge anymore. Like just what it's screwed Marvel. It is like screwed when Prime does that with shows. And then when they drop weekly, it's like the conversation online goes for way more weeks and way more months with Prime than if they just binge drop everything. Then people talk about it one weekend and it's over. Like
I think that one weekend that will get you the subscriptions. So like Stranger Things, boom, first season came out, or was it Squid Games? everybody's talking about that for a week or a weekend or something like that. And they got the subscription. Okay, you're locked in. But that can drop off. If you don't have a good show coming up the following couple weeks that has a weekly episode, then those subs are gone. But just the weekly series might not be exciting enough to get the initial subscription. So I think a combination really works well, but the shows have to be written to be released in that way too. If you have a really good cliffhanger series that does small arcs like Star Trek does, then you drop it all in once. Sure, they can watch it all in one sitting, but it leaves you with the cliffhanger at the end of every week that you can really want to get back to and waiting for it to come out, versus a show like Squid Game or I don't know, a lot of them where it's perfectly well written to just sit and watch the whole thing also.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the views look like too? Does it like tailor off or whatnot when it's like weekly? So what happens to me really is, first, I love the weekly thing. It was exciting to go home one day, and I think it hit me the hardest when Mandalorian was coming out. I was super excited for that first season of Mandalorian. When the episode dropped, I was excited to go home and check it out. Now I find myself forgetting about shows because of that. And I think it happened to me with Fallout. No, I love Fallout. I love the Fallout show. But it's just like time goes, you're busy, things, whatever happen in life. Are the views like tapering down as well? And maybe that's a thing that some things look at. I don't know. But for me though, it gets forgotten. And then I'm excited to be like, oh shit, I forgot that I have 3 episodes instead of 1. And that's what gets me excited now. I love staying up late and watching that Squid Game's second season. That was like my massive event now.
And Stranger Things recently had like a whole party for it. That was a whole binge release.
Yeah. People come over for that. So I think I'm back to the binging now.
Yeah.
Well, that's me.
Let's fully discuss each model and really kind of think this through, because there's also a third model that I think might be the actual right answer. I'll throw that out there. But first off, for the weekly version, you have that time to digest it. So like if it's I'm going to say Night of the Seven Kingdoms, although I think those episodes are too damn short and I'm pissed off every time I see those credits. But we have time to think about like, oh man, what does this mean to have Baelor decide to help back up Duncan? By the way, when we're recording this, some of these people haven't watched the episode, so I'm not going to say anything, the listeners. But you have time to think, well, what's that mean when you split the Targaryens on 2 different sides of the tournament? And you have a whole time to think about it. Also, theory crafting. I love theory crafting. Me and Thomas are both very active on social media. We're sitting there like, oh, did you guys catch the rings that Trevor kept? That means that he still kind of likes being the Mandarin. Things like that.
Do you guys remember WandaVision? There was so much. What do you call that?
It's a great one.
Lore creation. People were just theorizing. That's what they're theorizing about what each little tiny piece of it meant. If you didn't have that gap of a week in between, then the fans would have just watched it all. But there's so much attention brought to Disney just by that imagination that people were putting into it.
Yeah.
See,
I think I get why people like binging, but I don't know if it's healthy for the show. If that makes sense. Like, I don't know if it's like a healthy model and that's why I think so many shows and streaming, like you could say Netflix only does binging, but they also only drop Stranger Things in segments. So even they know that they don't want you to watch it all in one sitting. Like, so I think that, if you're a reviewer, most reviewers, I think, prefer that also not to be the case, because it's hard to break down every episode in the way you'd like to in one time. It's hard for you to have a conversation, especially it's like something really cool happens, like Wonder Man, for example. Like the first 3 episodes had little nuggets, but then you get to episode 4 and all you want to talk about is episode 4 because it was so amazing. And it was whoa, it like stopped the whole season in its tracks. And then you're like, wait, what happened in episodes 1 through 3 again? And I think there's not a lot of shows that I just like, unless I really stumble on it, I'm like, God, this is so amazing. How did I not know about it? That I love binging. Like, I don't know, not for me, but I can see why people like it.
Though, right? Because what you're talking about there is when a studio knows that they're going to release all the episodes at once, they can treat it more like a movie, which Disney's really struggling with this whole thing. And so then you could throw a doorman in the middle because you know that they're going to immediately go to the next one and get right back on track. But could you imagine Doorman coming out and you had a week beforehand and a week afterwards? You'd be extremely lost on what happened with Simon and Trevor.
That's true.
Something like that could throw you off even more. And I think that with weekly episodes, it takes classic show Bibles and classic showrunners to make sure that every episode feels like it could stand on its own. And a lot of production companies have forgotten that over the time. Even a show like Stranger Things. If you look at Stranger Things, people were complaining about, the second part. If we look at those as weekly releases, those would have felt so fillery, so boring. And we would have had like 3 weeks before the next big hit.
That's true.
So you mentioned there was a third formula. Is that the third formula? Is the best part to do segments?
The third formula is releasing 2 to 3 episodes in the first week and then doing weekly after that. Disney has also done that with like Mandalorian or like Andor releasing 3 at a time. But again, the writing is indicative that you are going to release them in 3 at a time. And then like with the batch, right. If the batch thing too, it's like, well, you have to set up and punch in the first 2 episodes, then that launches. So basically the initial premiere has to be bigger. Is why they're doing that. But I think that is really good because then all of a sudden, boom, we set off that one thing I loved about Andor is I didn't necessarily, outside of challenge, except that we did have to review it for that, but I was able to like watch those 3 episodes comfortably over the week. And I am a person who would watch them fast, but Jonathan might not be. And so I'm like, oh, did you get to this part next week? Oh, watch that and tell me when you get home. Watch that and then we'll talk about it. And that's fun. And you have 3 episodes to play with all week long. And instead of just being like the one episode. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was what was tricky with Andor in particular. It's like, I want to watch all 3, but then I was also watching it with Christina. And she was like, okay, wait, I got to go to the bathroom. I want to make snacks. I want to get food. And you're like, we got to watch the last one, bro. We're like 2, 3. And so that was frustrating.
No, but I think that attests to like what John's talking about. It keeps us talking about it longer, potentially like subscribing for a second month. You're forced to. And I thought Stranger Things, the season 5 was perfect because it kept us talking for 3 months of it. You know, what was it? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve? Or like
it was.
2 months of it? Yeah, whatever. It kept the prolonging, you know, of that conversation. So whether it was good or bad, it still was.
It's Netflix really breaking their mold, though, because Netflix is definitely the king of binge. And if we're looking at the binge side of things, the nice thing about that is everything is complete. When something is long, if for some reason Fallout, let's go with Fallout. Say you forgot the Fallout was coming out and you were just subbing to Prime for 1 month. Let's say that was the case. You're like, you know what? I forgot to finish that. So I've never seen. There are so many shows I have not seen the end of because I forgot about them. If I'm thinking about it back, like Hacks, I watched the first 2 seasons, fantastic, and I just like forgot to press play on that season 3. So I sat down and do it again. I have finished it. It's great. Season 4, I think. But anyways, that's the thing, right? So sometimes you don't finish shows, and a show's finish is part of its complete arc. So if you don't see the ending, like with Fallout, if you didn't see that ending for season 2, you wouldn't know about the NCR at full strength or anything like that, and that would really feel empty. That's a weakness to weekly and a strength to binge, just because it gives you the complete package. You walk away knowing it all.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. I forget about it. So like right now, I just looked it up. The Rings of Power. I'm on episode 6 out of 8. Now, a part of that is probably because it's not very good, right? But like again, like I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, man, I could have sworn I thought that like Wizard disappeared, and I thought the girl, maybe that was the end of season 1, so I'm getting them blurred. Like, whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is season 1.
Yeah, see,
I can't even remember, honestly. That's wild.
The only good episode. Like, finally, I was getting into the show, and it's the last episode. I'm like, oh, now it gets good.
Yeah, okay. But so for me with Fallout, for example, like as I was thinking about this a lot, we kept bringing it up. I didn't think that season 2 was as strong as season 1. I wasn't like as invested in it. When we got to episode, I think it was episode 4 or 5, I was like, wow, that was a super good one. And then it felt like a drag through it. And then episode 7 and 8, I was like, whoa, this is really good. But like, I think because it was weekly and I didn't think it was that good, like if I didn't just feel like I had to stick through it because I love Fallout, I probably would have stopped watching it, and I would have, but maybe a binge model would have made me finish it quicker. I don't know. I almost didn't get to the end, long story short, though, and I'm glad I did. It was really good, but I didn't like this season as much as I liked season 1.
Yeah. You know, my wife said the same thing because she was really into season 1 with me.
Yeah.
And so she kind of tapered off of season 2, but I still really enjoyed it. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I think like 2 or 3 episodes in, she's like, I'm not really into it. And I'm like, look, woman, I've been waiting to watch this with you. I'm gonna slit your throat right now because I could have been caught up. Okay? God. So then I just finished the last couple episodes without her. Like, oh my goodness.
And she probably would have loved those too. But see, I guess I think.
Well, I'm not letting her have the chance.
Totally. I think Frank kind of nailed it. As long as the writing is meant for the type of release model, I think it's good. Like, you know, Stranger Things totally fit that release model. Wonder Man totally fit that release model, and it worked perfect. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they binge dropped Fallout, if I would have liked it more.
Do you think they could do a hybrid model too, where they would have to film 2 seasons at once, but say they're pretty sure people are going to love this, so they drop the full first season so you can binge it, and then 1 month later, season 2 starts on a weekly release?
That would be crazy.
That'd be pretty hot.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be
Mhm.
a lot of money for them to invest, but if that gives that big punch of a lot of new subscribers and then they're locked in for a weekly subscription after that, so they'll stay on, I can't imagine that not being huge profits for them.
Yeah, release that second season too when it's like that time to have to resubscribe.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing
Yeah,
with that,
interesting.
Jonathan, is it tells me worrisomely that that's
Mhm.
a word. Let's double check. No Scrabbles. that might be season one's not like a complete story. I hate
True.
when they are so
Really bad
dependent
cliffhanger.
on like
You're-
my only
You're
complaint
building
with
up for a
Fallout.
dragon battle that never comes.
Yeah, exactly. House of the Dragon or Fallout. My only complaint with Fallout was like it was more set up in season 2 because they knew that they were going to do season 3. Season 1 they
Right.
didn't know they were going to do season 2, so
Yeah.
it felt more complete. And
Right.
There you
that
go.
to me, I'm like I'm a little worried about that, but I do like that. Now, Jonathan, I think you watch shows like you watch an episode partially, right, and then come back to that same episode
lot
and
of
finish
times,
it up.
yeah.
With.
So
What
there's a
is
lot of
that
shows
like
that
for you?
I won't. Yeah, it does disrupt the show, the flow of the show a lot. But there's a lot of shows that like I won't watch with the family because they won't like them or it's not appropriate or something like that. But my wife doesn't like anything scary, so if it's anything like that or too gory,
Yep.
even something like Fallout, she's just not interested. And so I watch that on my phone, and usually 30 minutes at a time on my lunch break. So sometimes if I'm doing dishes or something like that, I'll set up the phone and watch while I'm doing dishes and things. But you know, a little bit of some of the times I'm distracted by cleaning and things, so I don't even really fully engage with it. But that does kind of make it to where something will happen later on. I'm thinking back like, wait, I don't remember how they got to that point. Sometimes I'll rewatch an episode really if I think I just don't remember what happened in it. But other times I feel like I get to the end of the season and the arc didn't really pay off because I missed too much of it. So that really, it's really not great to have it broken up in pieces like that.
That rewatching thing reminds me of something I often do when it's a weekly release. I'll go back when it's like getting to that the act 2 to 3, the all is lost moment. As I'll go back and rewatch the first part of the season again, and that's something that you can't do with binging. And I don't know. Do you guys do that at all? Or is that just kind of a me thing?
No, I
Just a me
I
thing.
do that. Like
What-
especially like when it came to Fallout, because by the time it came to I think episode 8, I kind of forgot what happened in the season. I was like, wait, I better go back, and then I kind of like I didn't watch it, but like I kind of did a Jonathan watch it. You know, I was like doing dishes and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, that part happened, and then so yeah, I think. Especially if it's dense, right? Like if a show's like Andor is so dense, like you can watch those episodes a couple times and you're like, oh, I didn't even catch that because they're so it's subtle. But Netflix shows are meant to spoon feed you. They're like, we're walking in the kitchen. I'm making a sandwich. It's like you don't have to
Yes.
like pay attention as much. So I think it also depends on like what network it's on too. Cause
Oh,
yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah, they're written for you to binge and not pay attention too much. That reminds me so much of Wednesday. That
Yeah.
show is very much where like you
Mm.
can half pay attention and get exactly what's going on. That makes a lot
Right.
of sense. Yeah.
And so I didn't like season 2. I was like, I feel like they're spoon feeding me everything they're doing. And it's like, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
season 1, but I'm like, I don't need that.
Damn. See, I'm the opposite. I didn't mind season 2. I didn't not like. I think I didn't even finish season 1.
Really? You
No,
just
but
jumped
I
to
gave it a
season
second
2?
Chance. Yeah, the Wendy's promotions, man. I mean, I was like, yeah, I want a
They were
Frosty
pretty
and
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, let me try it again. And then
The
I was like,
Baconator
I
got me,
actually kinda like
guys.
this. So
Oh,
that's what got
awesome.
me. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I don't need to finish season 1. I think I get it now.
So
Yeah.
let's look at some different categories for TV shows and give a verdict on each one. See if this helps us out a little bit. So mystery box, we're talking Severance, or theory shows, which we're talking WandaVision. Do you guys feel like those are better served by weekly releases or binge releases?
I think that's
Weekly.
better weekly. That's the one that you're
Yeah.
talking about at the water cooler for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, social
yeah, I
media
think
driven.
weekly for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always have an episode that kind of drops something where it's like, oh my gosh, the mystery, right?
Yeah.
You know, psychological
Yeah.
thrills.
As
type
a
thing.
content
Yeah,
creator, it's
for
nice
sure.
to be able to kind of milk those shows a lot, to kind of throw those out a little bit.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Character dramas, a Better Call Saul. By the way, guys, I just finished Pluribus finally. Holy cow.
Such a good one.
So
Yeah.
good.
So good.
See, I like to
Um,
binge those. I feel like because it's not so much like the cliffhanger leading into the next season, but it's a bigger arc. The whole arc is all cohesive in one stretch. So to binge a show like that, I think is a lot better.
That
Like
makes
Pluribus.
sense. Yeah, as someone who tried to make Pluribus their personality online, man, that was so fun. Like, I was talking to so many people and like dropping things on Reddit and then like diving in. That was also like, for me, since there's no office to go to, it was like, that was a water cooler moment. Because everybody was like, wait, what happened? Why did Maniosos go there? Where's he driving off to? Or like, how is he going to get across? Or like, oh man, now that the others got him, like, where are they going to take him? So man, that weekly conversation of that show, the John Cena moment where he popped up, holy crap, that was so fun. So I loved, I don't know. To me, that was great. A great weekly show.
For other more character-driven shows, I'll go back to like a Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. I'm just going with the Gilliam's projects. I think for those, I have to be so wrapped in their psyche and like how it slowly evolves over. Because you'll notice like cheaper sitcoms, you'll be like, yeah, but 2 episodes ago, she cheated on you. You shouldn't be friends with her this episode. But they plan on you watching this weekly, so it's actually been 3 weeks. I don't think those binge well. A great example, as much as I've seen it 100 times, maybe not. I'm not as much as Thomas. How I Met Your Mother. When you watch How I Met Your Mother, they go through relationships like a marathon runner goes through miles. Yeah. It's hard when you're binging that. You're like, there's no way you're ready to go out with another date. This just happened last week, or last episode, 30 minutes ago.
If you're watching it weekly, then it's like, well, it's next weekend, and that whole relationship crash was a week ago, and they went to work in between and stuff. Yeah, I get you.
So a Better Call Saul type show where it's really about the guy's psyche that actually sticks together and slowly grows. That's binge worthy, I think. When life pulls you down, love lifts you up. Regretting You, the movie, is now available at participating retailers from Paramount Pictures. All right, so then let's go to the How I Met Your Mothers, the Everybody Loves Raymond, the I Love Lucy's, the sitcoms. Are those better weekly or are those better binges?
You said like the whole like 30 minutes episode, you're not ready for those type of relationships, but I think those are perfect binges because they're just background music to me. Throw on some I Love Lucy, I wouldn't carry them while I'm doing house chores and stuff like that. And she's at the chocolate factory again, right? Shoving the chocolates in her mouth, like, right? So I think to me those are great like background sounds.
So they're best as reruns, right? It is kind of a binge thing, but it's like, well, I'm not binging it like I'm gonna sit and watch every episode of I Love Lucy, but I'll put it on while I'm cleaning the house or when somebody comes over to visit or whatever. Like, but you could still find yourself getting lost in a couple episodes real easy.
What's a new streaming sitcom that's done really well? I'm like trying to think of one. Like I can't.
I just saw the first couple episodes of the new. I don't know how old this is. It might have been 5 years ago or something. Night Court. There's like a new version of it that came out. Have you guys seen that?
Good example. Yeah. That's
we just watched a couple episodes. I think yesterday, the day before yesterday, and it's actually pretty funny. There's not a lot of sitcoms where I'm actually like stopping to chuckle because it's genuinely funny when it's that type of kind of like simple writing or it seems like cheesy writing. But no, it was pretty funny.
Nice.
I'll give you, so sitcoms nowadays I think use less live audiences, but if we take away the live audience aspect of it, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a lot of those kind of comedies, 30 Rocks from like the last 10 years. So a lot of
Always
those I
Sunny
think have
Philadelphia.
that same thing. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The binge aspect of that, I credit to the fact that it's a rerun, that you've seen it already before, because I can't remember his name, but there was a psychologist I was just listening to talking about how for certain personalities, and it's part of a neurodivergent thing, where rewatching, because obviously it's me, rewatching something many times basically is a comfort to you because your mind overthinks about things. And so when there's something that you haven't seen before, your mind is actively trying to solve the problem. And if you already know the answer to the problem, your mind will let you actually relax. And so that's why to relax, you watch Bob's Burgers again or something like that.
It's like listening to music that you know, because you know when the beat drops or when that instrument comes in or whatever.
For some people, the TV show version is that. But a lot of people listen to the same song again over and over again. So I think for the first time watching, it might be weekly, but afterwards, binge is definitely the way to go. Probably.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's one case where, the binge is the best way to go. He was right. Because, my wife's very much like that, watch the same show over and over again. But I can't, I have a really hard time with that. I get super bored. So it's like I need.
See, and that's the difference, is the boredom versus actual relaxing, because the people, it's like a hyper-attention thing, hyper attention. I don't know. It's not hypertension, that's high blood pressure. But it is a thing where it's like your brain doesn't allow you to relax because it's paying attention too much to things. When you watch something you've already seen too many times, then it's finally your brain actually shuts off. Like personally for me, I sleep every night watching the same shows that I always watch. So I'll put on American Dad, Family Guy, Simpsons, whatever, Bob's Burgers, whatever. I'll put one of those on. I've already seen every episode countless times, but then my mind could actually go to sleep. And otherwise, I literally wake up when stupid Hulu, fuck you, Hulu. Stupid Hulu says, "Are you still watching this?" I wake up every night, press the button, and then go back to sleep. I don't know why it does it, but I do.
There you go. Yeah.
Last one is high action movies. So we're looking at anything John Cena, anything The Rock. What kind of high action movies or shows do you guys feel like those are binge worthy or week to week?
Yeah, so I would say maybe Squid Game's in because that's high action. There's
great one.
People getting shot in the face every episode, right? I think that's the best kind to binge though, because you get that adrenaline pumping and stuff. You don't want to stop and then wait a week for the next episode. You want to continue with that because you're emotionally invested. You're getting excited about these characters or whatever the situation is. And so, yeah, I think those ones that really get you amped up, you want to just keep going. That's the kind you'll stay up until 2 a.m. trying to finish the series.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching
up until 2. Yeah.
I was trying to like watch all of Peacemaker 1 to get to Peacemaker season 2. And it was weird. Like, I love that show. I think it's incredible, super good. But I could only watch like a couple episodes of it and be like, all right, I need a break. So I don't know. I think for me, it's more still weekly. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I think the nice thing with Peacemakers is it's enough comedy to help out, but maybe with just pure action, like let's say Squid Game for that one. I think you're right, John. Maybe it takes too long to amp you back up to necessarily get you every week. If you had to like slow your heart rate down and then get it back up, I could see something like that maybe. But yeah, Peacemaker is one of those fun things. Luckily, we got so many good shows out right now. Future Commandos, same thing, where it's like there's enough comedy to where I was like I'm in the world with the comedy as well, so it helps out, I guess.
Yeah, it also sounds like it depends on your personality is what it also sounds like. That's what I'm learning, like learning as we're all talking about it. It's like, if you're the kind of person that needs repetition to feel comfortable, then yeah, you probably like a binge. But if you're somebody who gets bored a lot and you want new things, it's like, maybe the weekly's the way to go. So it's like, I don't know, I guess it depends on your attention span or your level of tism.
Yeah. like The Mandalorian is weekly and I think it's perfect weekly. That's high action.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things like as it's going, I'm sitting there rewatching episodes because I want to make sure to catch all the little references in the background and stuff like it needs more dissection. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
One thing you guys touched on early on too is like when you don't know, don't remember what to watch or whatever, because there's so many streaming services, you kind of forget that you were watching the show and 3 or 4 episodes come out, something like that. That happens with me a lot too. So something that I can binge, then I know every time I have a window to sit down and watch something, that's the show I'm going to go to until it's all the way done. And then I look around like, okay, well, what do I watch next? And I look at the list that Frank has for me or something like that. And then, okay, this is the next one. I'll watch all of these ones next. But I have that same problem where sometimes I'll have just my lunch break or I have a window of time where I can watch something. I'm like, crap, I don't know what I'm supposed to be watching, but I come to find out, oh wait, I'm behind on Star Trek or something like that. And then I miss that window, but it's hard to keep up with sometimes. There's too many options these days.
So yeah, I like that idea that it comes down to personality, and then also it comes down to a different show. I think that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. All right, let's touch in on the network, guys. We have Outlast Podcast coming back in 2 weeks. We've got Distance Nerding is doing live shows, and they have a very good interview coming up soon. I don't want to spoil it, but make sure you guys go check that out. Fandom Portals just put out an episode. Gosh dang it, I'm sorry, Aaron, I forgot what one it was. But check out Fandom Portals. They're really changing the show over there, where it's not so much about reviewing a movie, but talking about how you can have personal growth from it and stuff like that. And they're both bringing in, Brash is a EMT and Aaron is a teacher. So they're bringing in their expertise into every episode. It's really good. Disney Mom's Gone Wrong, again, has a new co-host with Riley. Shout out to Riley for joining the network. And Night of the Seven Kingdoms has an episode out right now. I won't spoil anything for these guys here, but we will be talking about the results of the tourney and how that affects Game of Thrones. That's right. Everything that happened right now just changed the entire timeline to the bad timeline, probably. All right, let's go to our recommendations of the week. What do you guys got for your recommendation of the week?
So I think I'm going to go with a comic book to kick it off. Yeah, if you haven't read an X-Men comic in a while, Uncanny X-Men has been phenomenal with Gail Simone, but there's a new series called Cyclops. I know a lot of people don't like him. Man,
issue up. Gotta find it.
That's phenomenal. That book is sick. It is just like really badass so far. He is a badass in it. You see all the cool like ways he's able to like use his shots, and then you get to see like the raw power of it too. So yeah, shout out to Cyclops #1, written by Alex Packnadell.
Yeah, the cover done by Federico Visitini. That shit needs to be framed. It is so badass.
Yeah, it's sick. It is cool. Yeah, I like that.
Shadows of Tomorrow, Cyclops. Okay, cool. I'll do mine next real quick. So Stevie's the producer for GMM, and just this week, Stevie, after 13 years of producing Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link, has announced her retirement. And it's one of those things where it's like so much of what I do and what we do is inspired by other creators. Stevie very much is an inspiration to me as somebody who's kind of doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. She's also the God Mike voice and stuff like that, and she's on a lot of the shows too. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Stevie. One of the best things when something like this happens, when somebody really important leaves a community, is while we all comment on social media or in the comments under YouTube videos, whatever. And I watch every episode every single day, much like all the other mythical beasts is what we call ourselves. But when something like this happens, you start to hear from other people like, oh man, I used to love this part about Stevie. I love how Stevie did this. And suddenly you're reminded how big and interwoven your community is. They are about to hit 3,000 episodes for GMM, and they do 2 episodes a day. So it's about to be 6,000 episodes that they recorded together over 13 years with Stevie. So shout out to Stevie. You are a champ. And so that's my recommendation for you guys is go check out some of Stevie's amazing work on Good Mythical Morning and join Good Mythical Morning fandom. It's fantastic. It's really fun. Yeah.
Dang. Do you have like a best of episode list?
Again, 3,000 episodes, it would be hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they do the 3,000, they do an episode and then they do an after show. And really the after show is a lot more like loose and nuanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be really hard to make one, but I could probably at some time do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, it's a show that I'll
them?
Put on and just like do stuff. What's that?
Yeah. Do you ever have episodes you just save because you're like, man, that was such a good episode. I got to save that one.
No, because the algorithm knows me so well that it'll just keep bringing them back.
Okay.
And like, Frank, you want to see this one again. We know you do. And there's all kinds of formats. Like I'm a big fan of the format where they throw darts based off of where the food is from. And that's a really good one. So like formats will come back too. And so yeah, it's a really good inspiration for people who like to do like podcasting or YouTube videos and stuff like that, because they started out as 2 guys behind a card table, Stevie, their producer, and then 1 guy with a camera, to now they make, last I checked, $44 million a year. They employ sometimes up to 200 people. They have the second biggest interview show on the internet right now is Last Meals. That's one of their spinoff shows done by one of their spinoff companies. Yeah. So they're very, it's very inspirational.
So we're doing it wrong.
Well, you're right. We haven't hired enough. Yeah. Jonathan, what's your recommendation for the week, man?
I'm gonna say Starfleet Academy. That's my sit down show right now. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm liking it.
I was surprised how good that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's people that are. Of course, there's gonna be trolls online and people that are complaining about it, but it's not perfect. There's plenty of things you can pick apart with it, whatever. But I'm liking it. It's more Star Trek is always good, and it's got its own unique personality, which is cool. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, now's a good time to binge the first 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah,
the good show.
All right,
or watch it weekly, depending on your personality. My recommendation is going to be a movie called The Housemaid, starring Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
Oh yeah.
What I love about this movie so much, and I didn't think I was going to, but the wife turned on. She's been dying to watch it. Of course, I'm doing things, but then I sit down and watch it with her. I think I ended up paying attention more than she did. But there's so many twists and turns with this movie that after it was over, it just led me like mind blown of like, oh, this is what's going to happen now in the future with certain characters and whatnot. Like this movie's just so, it's almost like if M. Night Shyamalan in his prime did, like he always did some type of twist in a movie, right?
Right.
And I'm not thinking like supernatural twist or anything to it, but there's just a lot of turning points into this movie that I didn't see coming. Yeah, it was great.
I totally skipped this movie when it was in theaters, man. I'll have to check it out. That's a good call out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what movie I just watched because we talked about it on the podcast and you guys talked about how good it was Sinners. And of course I knew the plot twist.
Just now, Jonathan?
Oh, man, so
wow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
This past week. I was like, man, that was
great.
Really,
yeah, so
that movie, Thomas has already heard this 100 times over. That movie I watched 3 times over 2 days when I first watched it. I was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I was like, dude, you gotta watch it. This is something special. You're like, oh yeah. And then,
that's great.
And then you watched it more than I have now.
It's so good. Oh shit. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys hit us with those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe over there. We're putting out more videos more now than ever. And make sure you hit us up on all the social media platforms, including Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. All right, guys, have a good one. See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.